Hello, welcome back to RV Learning, fifth grade. I hope you all enjoyed your very sunny, warm weekend. And here is our assignment for this week. As usual for writing, I'm in my homeroom and I'll go to classwork, V Learning Writing. You're going to have to scroll down to find your diary. Yours will be in here, but mine is already here. As usual, I set my cursor by the date from last week. I click enter and then arrow up, and I always start with my date, May 5th, 2020. So this week's or today's writing prompt is something like this. Before quarantine, I ... but now I ... Now, I do not want you to just fill in those sentences. We need to work on elaboration. Your goal for this diary entry is minimum 6 sentences, minimum 6 complete sentences. So I'm going to teach you how to elaborate, okay? So now I'll click return, so I have a new line. So I'm going to start with that first sentence, before quarantine, I'll highlight that, I don't know, so you guys can tell. I'll start with that, before. So I'm going to think of some things that maybe I did before quarantine, right? So before quarantine, I obviously went to school at Blackwell. Now I'm at home. Before quarantine, I used to go to the gym and yoga classes. Now I'm here. Before quarantine, I went out to eat a lot, and now I never go out to eat because, well, I can't. Let's see, before quarantine, I maybe was planning a vacation and now I had to cancel my vacation. So think of all these things that maybe you did before quarantine that have now changed. I know for me, before quarantine, I didn't even spend as much time with my family, or I didn't see my brother and sister as much as I do now. So pick one thing that has really changed for you from that you used to do before quarantine that's different now. Okay, so I'm going to focus on one. And first, you'll elaborate on what you used to do before quarantine. So watch how I do that. I'm going to say, before quarantine, well, you guys all know I love exercising, right? I used to go to the gym to exercise. Now, I don't want to just stop there. I'm going to elaborate on that, right? So I used to go to the gym to exercise. So for me, I would go to Core Power Yoga and take hot yoga classes, period. So notice how now I have 2 sentences. I also would go to FFC to lift weights with my friends, period. So now look at that. I already have 3 sentences. 1, 2, 3, right? And that's all stuff I used to do before that. So I'm going to give a little more. How did I feel about that, right? I really loved being able to have a teacher tell me what to do for my exercises. So that's something I miss, right? As with my yoga classes, I don't have a teacher with me now to tell me. So I miss that. And I used to having a lot of different equipment gym. So these are things that are different. So as I think of what I'm doing now differently, now that I'm in quarantine, about my topic about exercising, what I really loved before was having a teacher and having a lot of equipment. That's something that's very different for me now. So I'm going to describe and elaborate the before, and now I'm going to start my but now. So how is that different now? So I'll change that so you could see how that gets elaborated. Maybe I'll highlight that in blue. I'll change my highlight here. So, but now I work out from home. Now, that's not enough. Just that sentence isn't enough. I need to elaborate. What does that mean? How is that different than what I did before? I run outside a lot, which is fun. So I'm telling you my feelings, but also doesn't require equipment. Remember, that relates to what I wrote before because I loved going to the gym for all the equipment. Now I don't have that. So now I could run and I don't really need a lot of weights or treadmills or anything like that, right? I also still do yoga classes, but I watch my teachers teach on Instagram Live, which I do, right? So I get to still take my yoga classes, but they're very different now. It's okay. I miss that I used to be able to do yoga in a room with a lot of people to motivate me and where it was really hot, so I felt like I was working extra hard. Okay, so notice how I elaborated that. My before quarantine is all that yellow. What did I do before and what are some details? Where was I? Who was I with? How did it make me feel? Where not my but now, okay, now how is not only how is it different, but how does it make me feel? What are the details of that, right? So this is a good minimum amount. So your prompt today is before quarantine, but now I. So think of something. Maybe things you did with your family, maybe something about video games, maybe you didn't read as much before and you do now, maybe you didn't cook before and you do now. Give me those details though, right, of what has changed, how that makes you feel, who's with you, so you have at least 6 sentences. Bye.